Hello and welcome to Pleasure Reading Podcast. I'm your host, Amelia Ruby, and on this show, I share curated book lists, themed TBRs, and chats with my bookish friends. Today, I'm arriving here celebrating Galentine's Day, or almost Galentine's Day, almost Valentine's Day. It is the season of love, and I have a very special romance-themed episode for you. So today I will be sharing 10 brand new romance novels. They have either just released or are just about to release in the US, and I'm really excited about all of them. We have sports romance, queer romance, BIPOC romance. We have all sorts of different themes and subgenres and tropes, and because these books are all just coming out, I haven't read any of them yet either. So we're going to look at the titles, the authors, the descriptions. I'm really excited to share all of this with you. I've been building this list for months now, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my late winter, early spring reading them. So shall we look to the books? Let's dive in. The first book on my new romance TBR is Racing Hearts by Anne Adams. This is a sports romance. It's her debut romance, in fact. Let me tell you all about it. Catherine Parker doesn't just dream of rowing in the Olympics. She has a carefully crafted plan with a strict training schedule, a meticulous diet, and no one else in her boat to slow her down. Then her boyfriend breaks up with her at the starting line of a big race, and Kath comes in dead last. She's swiftly kicked off the team and out of the Olympic Training Center, the only place she's ever felt at home. With one shot to win back her spot, Kath returns to her hometown to train with a new coach. The upside, Coach Adrian is hot. The downside, instead of letting Kath follow her own training regimen, he pushes her outside her comfort zone, urging her to try new things and let go of control. With her Olympic dreams on the line, Kath will have to choose, stick to her perfect plan, or find out if the key to winning and happiness is to embrace the part of rowing that makes it fun, one sweaty, sexy training session at a time. So I've never read a book about rowing before. I feel like I've seen it in movies, but I really don't know much about it. But what caught my eye about this one is that the author actually was a junior national champion, not in rowing, but in kayaking, I believe, and lived at the U.S. Olympic Training Center for a while. So I think there's a really cool, personal tie-in for her and real life experience that I think will make this a really interesting read. So that is Racing Hearts by Anne Adams, out February 10th in the U.S. I can't wait to read it. The second book on my list is It's All in Your Head by Sabina Nordqvist. This one also comes out on February 10th, and it's a really beautiful, from what I can tell, romance about sort of chronic illness and love and meeting unexpected people. So let me share the synopsis of this one as well. Skylar is done with offline relationships, especially romantic ones. Living with chronic illness means she's heard it all before. Unreliable, high maintenance, too much. She'd rather spend her free time in her online chronic pain support group. And lately, she can't help but notice Pike, the hot new guy with a penchant for broody poetry. When a chaotic night in the group forces her to pose as his girlfriend, she reluctantly agrees to keep up the charade in real life. Surprisingly, he's thoughtful, sweet, and, more importantly, doesn't flinch at the things that have scared others away. Fake dating gets a lot more complicated when she discovers Pike isn't just some guy. He's a professional snowboarder whose career-ending injury is as infamous as his Playboy past. He won't talk about that, though. He's fine, really. But pretending to be in love with Skylar turns out to be the least depressing thing he's done in months. As they spend more time together, she starts to notice the cracks in his carefully crafted image. And for once, he doesn't mind being seen. After all the bed sharing and late night talks, it becomes harder for both of them to pretend. But just as things start turning real, the paparazzi catch on, wanting the scoop on how everyone's favorite Olympic medalist is doing post-accident. Dating while disabled comes with challenges of its own, but public speculation and invasive questions are something else entirely. If their newfound feelings can't survive the spotlight, their not-so-fake relationship may be over before it ever truly begins. So with this one, we have fake dating. We have plot and characters really impacted by chronic pain and chronic illness. We have some sports. We have some celebrity. So I feel like there are a lot of sort of tropes and themes that I appreciate in here. And I really can't wait to read It's All in Your Head by Sabina Nordqvist. The third book on my list is called Only Friends by Lydia San Andres. Another one that's out February 10th, and I am excited for this sort of Regency twist on this one, maybe I'll call it. So let's hear what it's all about. After being fired from her day job, unceremoniously ghosted, and facing a bad case of writer's block, 26-year-old aspiring screenwriter Marielle Rivera is one spilled coffee away from crying on the subway. When she's rescued from a Times Square kerfluffle by a very handsome model dressed in Regency costume, Marielle has no idea her life is about to change. Dashwood Bennett, wow, what a name. Dashwood Bennett has been modeling for years, though recently his current portfolio includes some more risque shots. However, he never imagined that after his encounter with Marielle, he'd be putting on his Regency breeches just to take them off again in front of the camera. I have no clue what that means, but sounds spicy. Dash is the answer to Marielle's prayers in more ways than one. First, he saved her from an unruly mob. Second, he's the perfect person to play the Duke of Harding, a character she's created that captured her attention and won't let go. Third, he's more than game to be the face of her spicy historical shorts. Oh, that must be what it's about. And last but not least, he's her perfect partner, both in business and in the bedroom. But being work partners with benefits can complicate things. Will their partnership survive, or are Marielle and Dash doomed to not have their happily ever after? Interesting. So I love a workplace romance, and I think this is definitely a twist on a workplace romance, right? Like the workplace is spicy historical shorts, so that's exciting. I'm very intrigued by what on earth this Times Square kerfluffle was that Marielle needed rescuing from, and I am interested in it's Regency era, but Regency era thirst content for online fans. So not like going back to the Regency era, but bringing it forward. So I think there's a lot going on in this one. It could be a very fun read. That was Only Friends by Lydia San Andres. The fourth book on my list of brand new romances is a sports romance, Skate It Till You Make It by Rufaro Faith Mazarura. Let's read the description for this one. It is a hockey romance, but not of the heated rivalry variety. I believe it has fake dating. Let me read the description. Ari Shumba never expected to make it to the Winter Games, let alone be the one to lead Great Britain's women's ice hockey team through the most important competition of their lives. When her teammate's unexpected injury catapults her to the role of captain, Ari reluctantly shoulders the responsibility while trying to navigate family drama and dodge her toxic ex. Drew Delamini has always feared taking risks. After breaking up with his girlfriend and dropping out of college to handle a family crisis, he's desperate for a fresh start. When he finds himself in London for the holidays, he rekindles his dream of becoming a professional photographer. When Ari and Drew meet at a New Year's Eve party, neither of them is looking for love. Though their chemistry is instant, they live on opposite sides of the Atlantic, so they spend the night revealing their glaring red flags, thinking they'll never see each other again. But when they unexpectedly cross paths in the snowy Swiss Alps 2 months later, their feelings for each other rise to the surface. As the competition heats up, the combination of complicated exes, over-involved families, and stress-inducing teammates convinces them that the perfect solution to their problems is to fake date their way through the games. After all, there's no risk of falling in love if it's doomed from the start, right? So this book came out February 3rd, and it feels just in time for the Winter Olympics. I'm guessing that the Winter Games is sort of a riff on that here. Something I really like about this one is I feel like it sort of flips the traditional gendered expectation, perhaps. I think that with, traditional patriarchal gender norms, we'd have the guy who is the ice hockey player and the girl who is the photographer and dreamer. And instead we have the woman who is the captain of the ice hockey team and the man who wants to be the photographer and is trying to make that work. So I like that is, I don't want that to be unexpected. I want that to be normalized, but part of how we normalize that is by seeing it in books like this. And I think that there's going to be a lot of excitement for hockey romance coming out of the heated rivalry craze. I think we're still in the heated rivalry craze, but I hope that this book does really well. I think, especially because I know the author is a podcast producer, as am I. And it says in her bio that she's a British Zimbabwean writer and makes podcasts. So, I can't wait to read this book. I hope that you also will pick up a copy of Skate It Till You Make It by Rufaro Faith Mazarura. All right, fifth book on this list is One and Only by Maureen Goo. This one has such a beautiful, beautiful cover. And I saw that Rebecca Searle had blurbed it. And some of her romances have been some of my favorite, especially like magical realism romances. So I was really excited to see that blurb from Rebecca Searle. And then also the tagline for this book, she knows what her happily ever after looks like, and it's not him. I was very intrigued. Paint me intrigued. So let's read the description together. Cassia Park believes in soulmates, fated love stories. It's her family business, after all. For centuries, from Korea to Los Angeles, Park women have peered into clients' past lives to find their one true love, their fated. This magical secret is why one and only matchmaking has a 100% guarantee for everyone but Cassia. For 10 years, Cass has been searching for her fated, a man named Daniel Nam, but he's still nowhere to be found. So on the eve of her 40th birthday, Cass decides to do something for herself. She impulsively has a fling with Ellis. He's 28, indecently handsome, and not destined to be the love of her life. But she's surprised by their connection, and their fling feels like something more. Up to the moment he introduces her to his boss, guess who? Daniel Nam. As she battles between fate and chance, head and heart, a family secret is revealed that will make her question everything she's ever known. Cassia will have to decide if she'll follow her fate or make her own. I really can't wait to read this book. I need to get my hands on it ASAP. Maybe I will truly go to Barnes & Noble as soon as I finish recording this, because it has all of the ingredients of my favorite kind of romance novels. It has a magical realism component. I don't even know if we call it magical realism. It just has some magic in it. It has a love triangle, it seems. It has family involvement. I like all of that. I also think I've heard of some of Maureen Goo's other books. I know that she has written many YA books. I Believe in a Thing Called Love and Throwback, and this is her adult debut. So I'm really excited for One and Only by Maureen Goo. And if you like all those things, then maybe you'll pick up a copy too. All right, we're halfway through the list now. Let's move into some books that I am really excited about because they are related to or follow-ups to some of the other romances I've enjoyed before. So the ones that I've just spoken about, Racing Hearts by Anne Adams, It's All in Your Head by Sabina Nordqvist, Only Friends by Lydia San Andres, Skate It Till You Make It by Rufaro Faith Mazarura, and One and Only by Maureen Goo. Those are all brand new and brand new to me. I have not read those authors before. I'm not familiar with them. Some of them are debuts. I know Racing Hearts is a debut. But the ones that I'm going to share now are from some people who I have read, who I'm excited about. One of them I've actually even listened to an audiobook, but the print is coming out. So let's move into the second half of this list. Up next on my list of 10 brand new romances just in time for Valentine's Day is In Her Spotlight by Amy Spalding. So I read For Her Consideration last year and I loved it. It was set in Hollywood. We had like a famous actress and a writer, and we had like a sapphic romance. I was obsessed, and I can't wait for what Amy Spalding is writing us next. So let's read the description. Hollywood actor Tess Gardner is not the kind of famous she set out to be. She's ready to show she's more than Princess Platinum of the Vindicators series, a pretty face with CGI superpowers that literally sparkle. Tess wants to prove herself as an actor, and that means theater, the true calling of her thespian heart. But just when Tess lands a part working with an acclaimed stage director, a brewing scandal forces him out. His replacement? None other than the hip, buzzy director Rebecca Frisch. The same Rebecca Frisch whose heart a firmly closeted Tess broke over a decade ago during summer stock. As Tess wrestles with her lingering guilt and attraction to Rebecca, she also finds herself struggling to rein in her superstar status backstage. When things unexpectedly reignite with Rebecca, Tess bristles even more against the walls of her A-list life. Since the industry's made it clear that girl next door superheroes can't also be gay, coming out isn't realistic for Tess. And ultimately, Rebecca will head back to New York and likely seek out a less complicated relationship anyway. Will the curtain close on her chance for happiness, or will Tess finally take a leading role in her own life? Dun dun dun. What I love about romances is like we know it's going to have a happy ending, so I don't have to be too stressed about how this is going to go for Tess. But I feel like I just can't wait to read this. It comes out February 24th. I will definitely be pre-ordering my copy. I really like how Amy Spalding writes queer relationships because I think that the conflict, like in my experience of her characters, there's a lot of sort of like internal narratives that block them from letting go of past trauma or opening themselves up to love. And in addition to those like internal, I just think they're like human fears and vulnerabilities. She really addresses the like systemic and structural issues, the things that keep people in the closet, the very real reasons and repercussions of falling in love in a way that society doesn't always approve of. So I love that balance of like inner conflict and outer conflict. It all always feels very real world to me, even as it's set in, Hollywood and with celebrities and famous actors and things. So that is In Her Spotlight by Amy Spalding. I can't wait to read this romance just after Valentine's Day. Up next is Get Over It, April Evans. This is the follow-up to Dream On Ramona Riley by Ashley Herring Blake. I read Dream On Ramona Riley last year and really enjoyed it. It also has the sort of themes of like Hollywood star in a small town romance. They're sapphic. They're super fun, very witty, smart characters. So let's see who April Evans is and what's going to happen for her in this new book. April Evans's life is in shambles. She's had to close her tattoo shop in Clover Lake, and she's subletting her house to cover her mortgage. And her love life? Non-existent ever since Elena, her ex-fiancé, left her for a younger woman 3 years ago. When she is asked to teach a summer art class at the town's new resort called Cloverwild, April jumps at the opportunity, especially since the job comes with boarding. She's sure that this is the silver lining she needs, until she meets her cabin mate, Daphne Love, the woman who stole her ex-fiancé. And even worse, it's clear Daphne has no idea who April is. Daphne Love is cursed in, well, love. She thought she'd found the unconditional love she craved in her girlfriend Elena, but now she's single again and utterly brokenhearted. When her friend hooks her up with a summer gig as an art instructor at a swanky resort in New Hampshire, Daphne feels optimistic for once. If only she had a roommate and coworker who didn't seem to hate her on sight. Their already tense relationship gets even shakier when April and Daphne find themselves competing for a rare opportunity to showcase their art in a London museum. But slowly, barriers begin to fall, and an inexplicable allure keeps drawing them closer, leaving them to wonder if the perfect picture they're looking for can only be made with each other. All right, so this is like a real twist on I was going to say a second chance romance. It's not. It's like there's a third person who they had both dated and now they're going to date each other, I see. I don't know. So in Dream on Ramon and Riley, there is also a plot around like the main character having met the love interest before, but the love interest like not remembering that. So I'm intrigued to see that sort of coming back again here in that Daphne doesn't know who April is. I don't always love those like sort of power imbalances in a relationship where one person knows quite a bit about the other and the other doesn't know anything about them. But I trust Ashley Herring Blake to navigate that with ease and grace. And I'm excited for this. So that is Get Over It, April Evans, coming out, or maybe it's already out. It's already out. Came out February 3rd. So you can grab a copy today. Up next on the list is Two Can Play by Ali Hazlewood. So this came out as a Spotify audiobook exclusive for Valentine's Day last year, maybe. I think it was last year. And I remember talking about it on Pleasure Reading and saying that like I was walking around the park listening to it. And I learned in that moment that I don't really, it's very uncomfortable for me to listen to intense sex scenes in public. So I love everything Ali Hazlewood does. I think that she writes such great relationships and spicy scenes in her books. I loved listening to this and I look forward to revisiting it in the paperback version and reading the new bonus chapter that's in it. But in case you have not heard of it before, let me briefly read you the synopsis of this Enemies to Lovers novella. Viola Bowen has a chance of a lifetime to design a video game based on her all-time favorite book series. The only problem? Her co-lead is Jesse effing Andrews, aka her arch nemesis. Jesse has made it abundantly clear over the years that he wants nothing to do with her, and Viola has no idea why. When their bosses insist a wintry retreat is the perfect team-building exercise, she can't think of anything worse. Being freezing cold in a remote mountain lodge, knowing Jesse is right next door, no thank you. But as the snow piles on, she discovers there's more to Jesse than she knew, and heat builds in more ways than one. That sounds spicy. And it is. I really enjoyed this. I think that the enemies to lovers actually felt realistic here. Like it felt like they were these sort of career rivals and they had to unpack like how that happened in order to fall for each other. There is also a snowed in subplot, which I always like, especially in the winter. So if any of that sounds up your alley, if you like snowy settings, if you like video game designers, if you like enemies to lovers, if you like Ali Hazlewood, then I think you might really like Two Can Play, her new novella. 2 books left for us. The next one on my list of brand new romance releases is The Ex-Perimento by Maria J. Morillo. This author actually has not been on my radar before. It's her debut, but I'm really excited by the themes of this book. She's hiring a musician to try to win her ex back, and then there's this different romance that happens. I also love that it's set in Venezuela, which of course is a country that we're thinking a lot about right now. So I really look forward to reading this, and let me tell you all about it. Maria Marianto Camacho is a planner. At 27, she has her life perfectly mapped out. Her long-term boyfriend, Alejandro, is perfect on paper, and she's expecting a proposal any day now. She has a stable job as a lifestyle columnist at AS, one of Latin America's biggest digital magazines. Her future is set. She's sure of it. Until everything falls apart overnight. Marianto loses her boyfriend and her job, but she's determined to get them both back with an idea that is either delusional or ingenious. A juicy new article for AS that documents a series of romantic experiments to get her ex back. Thus begins the Ex-Perimento. With her bank account dwindling, however, Marianto lands a temporary gig on Venezuela's hottest new singing competition show. Her job? Personal assistant to Simone Areza, the lead singer of her favorite indie band. All right, twist. We have 2 jobs in this book. And we have a sort of how to lose a guy in 10 days-ish article. So I love that. Let's see what else is in the synopsis. It's only her second day on the job when Simone discovers Marianto's list of romantic experiments, striking her ideas and replacing them with his own better ones. Out of desperation, she offers a proposition. Help her win back Alejandro, and she'll give Simone's band a profile in the magazine once she returns to AS. But between the close quarters on set and the blurred lines of a budding friendship, they find themselves irresistibly drawn to each other, caught in a whirlwind of unexpected romance. So this one obviously brings together multiple things I love. I love romances about writers. I love romances where we get to see people at work. I also love romances about singers. So we have like a lot of workplace stuff that I really enjoy. I love when there's this sort of like, it's not exactly a competition, but this plot of like, she's made this list and she's going to do these experiments. Like I like that sort of plot device because it really helps us move through. And I am excited. I'm really excited for this book. The Ex-Perimento by Maria J. Morillo. And also apologies if I butchered any of the pronunciation of those names or words. I always do my best. And that takes us to our last book of the list, my friends. This one is by B.K. Borison. It is the follow-up to First Time Caller, and it's called And Now Back to You. It'll be out February 24th, and I'm really excited for it. You can see on the cover, the tagline is like Weather Boy meets Weather Girl. So in First Time Caller, we had a romance radio show, hotline radio show. And in this one, I guess we have some weather people. But I'm really excited for it. I loved First Time Caller, which I just read recently, actually. And I'm looking forward to the follow-up from B.K. Borison. So let's see what the description has to say. Oh, I see here. 2 competing meteorologists are forced to find common ground in this opposites attract when Harry met Sally inspired romance. Meteorologist. That's the word for weather people. So let's read the synopsis. Jackson Clark and Delilah Stewart have had their fair share of run-ins over the years, often ending in disaster. While Jackson thrives on routine and organization from the comfort of his radio booth, Delilah loves the spontaneity and adventure out in the field. When they're partnered against their will to cover a historic snowstorm, they find themselves scrambling to figure out how to work together. Eager to be taken seriously as a journalist, Delilah offers Jackson a deal. If he can help her ace this assignment, she'll help him rediscover his long-lost fun side. With unexplored chemistry burning beneath their clashes, the unlikely partnership quickly tumbles into an easy and surprising friendship. But when other feelings start to enter the equation, can Jackson and Delilah withstand the storm? Or does what happens in the mountains stay in the mountains? All right. So Jackson was a sort of side character in First Time Caller and was very fun and funny. And so I'm really excited to see how his romance with Delilah goes in And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. So that was our 10th book on this list of 10 brand new romance releases for your Valentine's or Galentine's weekend. Let's briefly recap the titles that I talked about here. First was Racing Hearts by Anne Adams, a book about rowers and competition and love. Then was It's All in Your Head by Sabina Nordqvist, a book about chronic pain and falling in love in your support group with an accidental celebrity former Olympian. The third book was Only Friends by Lydia San Andres. That one is about a Regency costume model and falling for a woman who makes spicy shorts. So we'll see how that plays out. Fourth book on the list was Skate It Till You Make It by Rufaro Faith Mazarura, about a woman who is the captain of the ice hockey team in the UK, meeting and sharing red flags with and falling for a budding photographer. Then One and Only by Maureen Goo, a book about a woman who knows who she's supposed to fall for, has a fling with a younger guy, and then meets his boss, who's the guy she's supposed to fall for. I'm excited for the love triangle in this one. Up next was In Her Spotlight by Amy Spalding. We have a famous actress who's tired of being in the not-so-Marvel comic book universe and wants to work on a play and then ends up being directed by a former fling, love, romance, friend, etc. The seventh book on the list, I think, was Get Over It by April Evans, the follow-up to Dream On Ramona Riley by Ashley Herring Blake. Eighth was the paperback release of Two Can Play by Ali Hazlewood. The penultimate book on this list was The Ex-Perimento by Maria J. Morillo, which will be out on the 17th. And we wrapped it up with And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison, out February 24th. So many of these books are already out as you are hearing or watching this, and the rest will be out in the US in February of 2026. So plenty of romance reading for your Valentine's season. Thank you so much as always for tuning in to Pleasure Reading Podcast. If you like any of these books and you'd like to purchase them from the links in the show notes or down below, if you use those links, I will receive a small affiliate payment that I take as a thank you for the book rec. Helps me keep this podcast going and buy more books for myself to read. So please do use those links if you'd like. And otherwise, I wish you a very happy Galentine's Day, February season. And until next time, cheers to your next best book.